Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, first impressions video for you today, focused on this British military lorry B-Type, a 2019 tooling that spawned one or two other kits. Let's have a look. This is Miniart's British military lorry B-Type in 1 to 35 scale, kit number 39003. Now this was a new tool in 2019, but was sort of the third release of this kit, which you wouldn't necessarily recognise as this model at all, because it originally comes out as an omnibus, and then they did a London bus version. So they did a military omnibus, a civil bus, then this came out. Then in 2020, the coal truck version came out of this. And then there was another omnibus came out. And in 2023, at some point this year, we're expecting an armoured version of this truck to come out. So Miniart are getting as much as they can out of the moulds, which they always do. As we look at this, we've got a lovely bit of artwork there showing the vehicle in quite a cold setting. We've got icicles hanging off and snow and ice and slush. A lovely bit of artwork actually, and some chap working in the back. It tells us that the kit contains a model of a truck, has photo etch parts, and it's part of their World War I military series. The sides of the box don't tell us anything other than what's already on the top. We've got a little bit of information on the box, 14 plus, tells us it's an unassembled kit, and contact details, which I believe have now changed because I think Miniart have now relocated to Poland, whether that's temporary or what, I don't know. And then as we turn her around, we've got some of the decal options here, so 4 schemes being shown here. Right, let's have a look at the instructions. So as we open the box, we can see that our instructions are in the bottom. We have the usual packing from Miniart with everything in one bag, the clear parts in with the decals, which personally really irritates me. We get damaged decals that way, and then our little envelope with the photo etching. So let's dig out the instructions and take a look. Our instructions are the typical A4 portrait stapled colour instruction manual with their pictures and a little bit of a technical drawing. I always find it a little odd that they seem to be selling the kit to you once you've already bought it, but they do list what's in there. It tells us we've got 4 variants on the decal sheet, we've got photo etch and clear parts, an accurate engine, and that it's a highly detailed model, which is always reassuring. And then we're straight into a couple of our decal options, which I'm assuming that we are on the same colours throughout this, as it's a military truck. So we've got British Army Service Corps 14 to 18, so could be used anywhere in the front really. This has the load not to exceed markings on it, some tailgate markings. And then we've got slightly different, we've got the same markings on the side, but it misses the markings on the radiator there and the same marking that's on the tailgate. So you're just removing a decal effectively to get this one, and it says again British Army Service Corps 14 to 18. Let's flick to the back where we'll have the other paint schemes. So British Army Service Corps 1418. We've got a different decal this time on the sides, on the bonnet sides, and on the tailgate. and we're omitting the maximum load. And then the last one is just basically that W and D logo, whatever that is. So they're all British Army Service Corps between 14 and 18, so general use truck, with a few decals. So there's not a lot of difference really between them. It's really just some different decal options, isn't it? There is there some? Yeah, this one doesn't have all the brasswork by the looks of it. You can see we've got the brass, I guess that's a fire extinguisher, which seems to be in green and hung on the side there. So there's a subtle difference. So there might be some differences in the actual build as we go through, so that's something to look out for. I tend to always decide on my paint scheme as the first thing I do, and then it's clear in my mind as I go through the build instructions what I'm doing. For me, I quite like this option here with these on the radiator and the tailgate, but I don't need to decide that just yet, do I? Right, as we turn over, we have all the information that we need about what's in the box. So we've got our sprue map here, which does have the numbers on so that you can cross-reference the parts if you can't find it. I sometimes use these, to hunt down a part. It can be helpful. Our clear parts here, our photo etch, our decal sheet, and then we have our list of colours, which are calling out Vallejo, Mr. Colour, Life Colour, Tamiya, AK, Mission Models, Hataka. So loads of options there, and then of course you can always cross-reference if you want to use another brand. Oh, there's also Ammo MiG at the end of there that I missed. And then at the bottom here, we are starting in step 1 with the engine, and that's quite an unusual and busy looking engine block, isn't it? So what have we got there? 2, 4, 6 parts to build up the actual block itself, and then we start adding some pipe work to it. So yeah, quite interesting. And then we've got some intricate parts there, springs and stuff. So we are already seeing instructions there for painting bits different colours, photo etch going on. So yeah, that should look quite nice, that. So already I'm thinking, what's the excuse for having the engine uncovered? More going on, some scratch building here with some, it doesn't give you a diameter, but it does give you a length. So some lead wire or something will do that nicely. They do supply the photo etch termination points onto what I suspect is the plugs. No expert on engines, to be honest. And then we've got whatever that is being built up and put on the front. Step 7, and we start building our chassis frame, which is also quite a busy frame, isn't it? And then the engine's being mounted on, fan belt and fan mounted on after that. Then we've got front suspension. It looks like mounts for, yeah, the bottom of the mounts for the leaf spring suspension. Is that a spring or some form of stop or something going on there? Not sure. Looks like it could be like a bump stop or something. More suspension going on, and then some form of cover over that. Looks like it's some form of wheel or something, doesn't it? So step 17, and we start building up the bulkhead there, which will be the bulkhead for the cabin floor going on. Is that? Not sure. I'm not sure if that's just the back of that. Then we've got some more scratch build pipe work to make. We have a little template here which has got the length between some of the bends and so on, and there you go, a 1:1 scale of how big it should be when it's built, so you can just fit it over that template. So yeah, that's always handy. Building up the radiator there, several parts of the radiator, including some photo etch mounting brackets, so that'll look very nice. And then that goes on to a couple of mounts as it lands in place. So that's our radiator. We're on step 21 now, and we're still building the basic underside of the vehicle. So building up the rear axle, various parts going on there to build up the various bits underneath, whatever they all are. Step 26, and we carry on with drive shaft. We've got some photo etch brackets to form, and then we're building, those are the rear wheels and those are the front wheels. Quite an unusual looking rear wheel, quite intricate, quite a nice looking wheel actually. And then we're putting in some of the control rods ready for putting in the mechanics of the cab. So you can see there, two parts going together, and then we're mounting them with a little linkage. Building up our forward lamps as well, our headlamps. Step 31, steering wheel and steering rack going in, our little horn, the floor pan is going in, which will all be wood, so that'll be painted up and weathered. That'll look lovely. Some more small parts, and then we've got, this is the bonnet side pieces, which have got some plates on. So depending on which colour variant you're going for, you've got different plates to go on. Step 36, and we're putting the bonnet together, 4 pieces, which means that's going to be fully posable, the joints being on the hinges, so that's a really nice touch, and it is demonstrating there how it folds if you're going to have it in the open position. Then we're putting our exhaust on, and handbrake I suspect, and the linkages for it. Step 40, we're building our fire extinguisher up there, and then we're mounting it on for variants 1, 2 and 3. No mention of 4 at this stage. Then we carry on with building the cab, so we've got the cab back wall, the bench seat, sides and roof of the cab. That's all being built as one sub-assembly and then being fitted in with a couple of supports. Then as we go over, step 46, showing us those supports again for variant 4 this time, which has the little, is that a little windscreen or something that's on variant 4? Let me have a look what that is. Oh, it seems to have a sloping piece of wood, so it's probably a bit of extra protection just there. Yeah, so there is quite a difference to option 4. Then we can see our fire extinguisher being mounted on the side there, and then we're building up the flatbed at the back. So basic 5-part construction, and then we've got all these little supports going underneath. We can have the back drop down and open, so we've got some options there. Step 49, we're adding that flatbed onto the truck. The truck looks fairly cool at this point, recognisable, isn't it? And then we've got lots of little connection pieces going on underneath. So as always with Miniart, a lot of little detail to be added, and then a storage box. We're on step 52 now, and we've got only for colour variant 3, we've got some form of sign or something going in the cab where you'd have a rear view mirror. Maybe it is a rear view mirror, I don't know. Our mud guards, little bracket there to hold the cab and the flatbed aligned with each other. Then I guess these are the main little side lamps, are they? These will be smaller than the headlamps we built up before. And then now being added on, so we've got all the lamps going on. Adding on our sub-assembly mudguards. Then we've got some bull bars and bits and pieces to go on the front. You can see it being made up there and then being added before we make it up. And then in step 58 we are finally adding our wheels. So quite a complex build. Sequence seems very sensible. It all sort of comes together in the way I would want to build it. So yeah, we're not adding the wheels before we've added the cab and that sort of nonsense that a lot of kit instructions might do. So yeah, that all seems fairly good. Let's have a look at the decals and what else we're going to have a look at the decals first, which gives me an opportunity to get them out from underneath these clear parts. It drives me bonkers that they do this. Yeah, you can see there is a little bit of damage on the decal sheet, which isn't the first time that's happened. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, so you can see some. If we can get that in the light there, can you see? It's just hit the tip of the decal, although the decal appears to be okay. But Miniart, if you're listening, please stop doing that. Just put them loose in your instructions. For heaven's sake, they'll be so much safer in the middle of your instructions. Okay, what we've got is typical Miniart decals. They are nicely done. They're not cartograph standard, but they're not that much. There's, other than being a bit thicker, I've never had any problems with them, so I can't grumble about them in any way. I think they're good decals. Quite a bit of carrier film in some places due to how they're spacing some of these letters, which is fair enough. You've got the option to cut them out yourself anyway. It's either black or it's white, isn't it? So there's no real colours to give us any issues with register. And if you don't use some of these, you've got some handy decals for diorama projects in the future. So yeah, nice little set of decals, which I'm now going to put in my instruction manual. We have our clear parts, we might as well have a look at those. So we've got a little clear piece here which goes in the back of the cab. Seems to be a little bit scuffed, mine, but we could easily polish that out. Or just leave it on as part of our model. And then we've got lenses for the various lamps. None of them have any detail on, they're just clear parts, but they're nice and clear, they look good. So no real issues with that. Okay, doing our photo etch next. And we've got a small compact piece of photo etch. We've got the little handle bits on the little loops that go on the lamps, a couple of bezels, these little signs. Again, most of these you're not going to use. You're going to select one set depending on which model you're doing. So these could be really handy for something else in another diorama or what have you. The brackets for the radiator there, whatever that is, that goes in the cab on one of the versions, and then some little brackets that need folding and the like. These little ones here being the ones that we saw that go on the end of the spark plug, so really quite tiny. Right, our first sprue out, and I'm just doing them in the order that they come, and then I can put them back in the box in that order. So this is sprues FA and FB, which, as you can see, has the main body parts. So we've got the roof here, we've got that front section, the two side pieces, the back wall of the cab, the box that I think this seat goes on, different side wall there for, I think there's for the fourth variation. Have our flatbed, the bottom, the sides, and one of them is the end. I think that one is the end that opens, and look how nice the moulding is of that. They've moulded the rod on. You can see there's a gap between the rod and that That's real finesse. Some of the braces that go underneath, but not all of them. This is our little brace for the roof. Blimey, that's going to need a little bit of care to remove that, but very nice it is. Then we've got some nice texturing on the seat. It looks quite rough actually, but yeah, that's quite nicely done. And obviously we've got all this wood effect now. People can be divided on this. Is it overscale? Maybe. But for a lot of people, painting this and giving it a wash and then a dry brush, it's a nice easy way of doing it rather than having to do your own wood effects. Some people might want to sand it, but I'm not one of them. I would use it as it is. Got some lovely detail in the firewall here. You can see that you've got two different types of wood there, so that's nice. Yeah, that's really good. Some lovely detail. Everything, as always, is crisp and sharp and looks the part. So my light's not so good because the sun is streaming in, so I'll take some photographs and show them at the end. We have two of these sprue EFs, which has another bracket that goes underneath and these little connection points, and then one of the boxes, storage boxes that goes underneath the flatbed. So again, nicely moulded, all lovely and crisp. Can't imagine we'll have any problems with that. Quite nice and chunky actually. No sink, no ejector pin marks, no hassle, just clean it up and build. Sprue FD, we've got two of these. Sorry, I'm not the camera. We've got two of these, which contains our road wheels, our mud guards. I think that's to do with the engine, but not sure. And various other components, some of them definitely for the engine, and what looks like a lamp, yeah, which has been slide moulded, so we can see that's nicely hollowed out. Whenever you see these little divots with a square in, that's where the slide moulding tool's gone through, so you know that's a slide moulded bit. So there's a little bit of flash. We can just make it out on the mount for the headlamp there, and it looks a little bit fuzzy around here, but it's minor stuff. Quick whip over with your emery board, and that's all good. You've got detail on both sides of the road wheel there, so that looks really nice as well. Same with the front one, and then when you build it up with the rims and stuff, it will really look the part. Okay, sprues BA and BC now. So BA, the longer one at the top. We've got our bonnet parts here, so that's the top piece with the hinges on, and then the two side pieces that go either side. I don't see that we've got the two bottom panels on here. No, I don't believe so. Steering wheel, various bits for the chassis and the engine. We've got some pipe work and stuff. Again, a little bit of seam cleanup, but otherwise all good. The fan is quite chunky, but that's difficult to see it when it's on anyway. And then we've got our fire extinguisher here, which is nice with all the rivets on. That's the top for it there. Various bits for the engine, again, a lot of pipe work and what have you. Detail is really lovely. We'll, like I say, we'll take some photos because I can't get the light right with the sunscreen. Okay, little sprue now, GE, and this effectively just has our radiator on, so you can see the top there, the back piece for it because it's moulded on one side, and then yeah, so we've not got the infill bit for it, but we've got the frame for it there. And again, slide moulded with our little logo on there, which says, I think it says EGOG or ECOT or something, don't know, can't read it with just my reading glasses on. OC is what's on the radiator. Final sprue now, the largest sprue in the box. We've got our frame sides here for the chassis. We've got our floor for the cab and another firewall there. Although I don't think it's really a firewall when it's made of wood, is it really? We'll call it a bulkhead instead. We've got our suspension springs, whatever that was, that I think is some form of flywheel. Radiators, cooling, which is nice. We've got our steering parts, various bits for underneath the chassis. The leaf spring suspension is lovely. Some seam cleaning up as always on that. Some nice delicate parts, lots of detail, which will look lovely when you've start doing your detail painting. Yeah, really nice. And then we've got a selection of slide moulded parts here, which are our lamps, what I think is a rubber stop, but not 100% sure. And our horn, mine has a little nick in it, which is a bit of a shame. Bit of wartime damage there, but yeah, all good. A little bit flashy in places. You sometimes get that on Miniart kits, but it's all easy to clean up, and it's the price that we pay for getting good detailed models, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, really nice. Right, I'm going to take some photos and then we'll wrap up. So there you have it, Miniart's 1:35 scale British military lorry B-type, kit number 39003. What are my first impressions? You know what? It's another lovely Miniart kit. It's as simple as that. I'm almost at the point of saying you can't go wrong if you've got a Miniart kit. Now I know there are some people out there that love them. This one is one of their less complicated kits. So it's not like you're doing a full interior stug where you've got as many parts as the original almost. The part count on this is relatively low, but there is still enough small fiddly parts there to give you an engrossing build. The detail level is great, and yeah, it looks really nice. Low light for me. I'm not going to mention clear parts in the decals because they do it all the time. So for this particular kit, I think there isn't really a low light, other than your paint options are really just decal options, not different paint schemes. They're all much of a muchness. You've got one slightly different build version, which has a higher front wall here and slightly different sides, and the fire extinguisher mounted on the side. So there is a couple of little options in there. Highlights, I think the subject matter is grey and looks good. You've got a fully visible engine and so on. For me, the highlight is just the quality of the kit. It's typical Miniart offering, all looks good, very, very nice. I've not looked to see if there's aftermarket for this, but quite often I don't when it comes to Miniart, but there you go. I think it's just a nice kit. It's a reasonable sized project, would lend itself nice to a diorama or as a standalone piece. So yeah, all good. Looking forward to building it at some point. Hope that was useful. If you're in the market for getting one of these trucks from Miniart, you now know what you get in the box. So thank you very much for looking in. You enjoy your modelling, and I'll see you very soon.